From Abuja, I'm Chimobi Walter Naji.
And I'm Ruth Aguele. Thank you for joining us. First, let's take the headlines.
President Muhammadu Buhari returns to the holy city of Mecca to intercede for Nigeria and seek divine guidance in the execution of his mandate.
Federal government celebrates the chief Imam of Nga village heroic act.
A singular act, or just, an act that puts his life on the line, I think he's said it all.
House of Representatives holds last plenary for 8th Assembly.
Honorable colleagues, this will mark the last sitting of the 8th Assembly.
Plus, African Union envisages boost in intra-African trade to the tune of 60% by 2022 through elimination of tariff.
Thank you for joining us. Days after his inauguration for a second term, President Muhammadu Buhari has returned to the Grand Kaaba in the holy city of Mecca.
His mission, not only to intercede for Nigeria, but also seek divine guidance in the execution of his mandate for a secured, peaceful, united and prosperous Nigeria. We'll bring you details in our subsequent bulletin.
And moving on now, at 83, Chief Imam of Nga village in Barkaladi local government area of Plateau State, Abdullahi Abubakar, has become a hero, and he is being celebrated by the federal government as an example of good religious leader and an ambassador of peace.
Imam Abdullahi Abubakar, who demonstrated a courageous act to save over 300 people during an attack on his village in June 2018, is also being recognized internationally.
During his visit to the presidential villa, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo describes the act as heroic, which should be celebrated anywhere in the world. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
This is Abdullahi Abubakar, Chief Imam of Nga village in Barkinladi local government area of Plateau State. On him, attention has shifted for his heroic act. And here, he fights back tears as he recounts what happened on that dark midday of 23rd of June 2018, when his village and two others were invaded by armed men, burning houses and killing men, women and children. He, along his Fulani assistant, had formed a shield for those who took refuge in the mosque and his private apartment, thereby saving hundreds of lives. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo describes this as one of the compelling stories of love.
The most compelling stories of the love that one individual can show, not just for other human beings, but especially because they are not even persons of his own faith or persons of his own tribe. In a society where tribe and religion usually play such a prominent part in how we relate to each other.
Vice President Osinbajo urges politicians to avoid using religion, tribal sentiment to create division among people, noting that Abubakar has demonstrated to leaders that the way to resolve whatever conflict is not by violence, but a demonstration of love.
Here is an individual who has done, just by this action, so much more than whatever words we can say as politicians or as heads of government, whatever words we can say, whatever we can preach as religious leaders. By this singular act of just, an act that puts his life on the line, I think he's said it all for all of us. And really, he deserves all the commendation and all the honor that he gets for this.
With Abdullahi Abubakar as the village head, Damafolu Mangai. In the State House, Jude Onifade, NTA News.
On legislature now, the Senate has confirmed the nomination of Musa Abubakar Sadiq as president of the Federal Capital Territory Customary Court of Appeal. Ignatius Onkwo tells us more.
The presiding officer, Deputy Senate President Ike Madu, read executive communication from the president requesting that the legislators do confirm Musa Abubakar Sadiq as President Customary Court of Appeal of the Federal Capital Territory. In less than 40 minutes, the Senate ushered him in, dissolved into Committee of the Whole, screened and approved his nomination, and senators were in compliant mood.
Where those at the lowest ladder, the vulnerable, the disadvantaged, can go to courts and get judgment because they deserve to get those judgments.
He's an astounding nominee with a very, very good pedigree.
I know him to be a very erudite judge.
All right, in the absence of any further comments or strong objection, can the nominee take a bow?
The confirmation of Musa Abubakar Sadiq has now become the fastest confirmation by the 8th Senate.
She's in bad shape.
Senator Victor Ume drew the attention of the Senate to the alleged planned downgrading of the Caribbean International Airport, Enugu.
The Senate resolved to urge the federal government to take steps to complete the new terminal building of the Enugu International Airport and put it to use by local and foreign airlines.
In support of the motion that the airport should be upgraded, the runway should be fixed properly, the drainage should be taken care of.
The whole runway be rehabilitated, as we'll be having dangers in our hands.
Senate considered the report of its committee on petroleum downstream for the payment of 129 billion naira as subsidy claims to petroleum marketers. This is the last plenary for legislative business by the 8th Senate.
To distinguished colleagues, I would like to join the Senate leader in wishing all of us a very happy Salah.
Senate has adjourned to Thursday, the 6th of June 2019, during which it will hold its valedictory session. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Onkwo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Bayelsa State Governor Seriake Dixon has urged the political class to honor the sanctity of the judiciary in order to preserve the nation's democracy.
This was at the swearing in of 2 new judges in Government House, Yenagoa. Ebinemi Zitimiola reports. Okay, we seem not to have that report ready. Meanwhile, the Court of Appeals sitting in Abuja has upheld the qualification of Senator Ademola Adeleke to contest in the governorship election of Osun State. Delivering judgment on a number of consolidated cases, the Court of Appeals said the FCT High Court erred in its claims. Judiciary correspondent Femi Okewo reports.
Thursday saw the Abuja division of the Court of Appeal delivering 5 judgments in various pre-election cases, most of which came from Delta and Osun states. But of particular interest were the certificate cases of Senator Ademola Adeleke, PDP's governorship candidate in the last Osun State governorship elections. That case had gone through various high courts, starting with the High Court of Osun State in Osogbo, which took direct evidence from WAEC to confirm that Senator Adeleke was indeed among the students that sat for the 1981 West African Examination Council's exams. But at the FCT High Court, this piece of evidence was jettisoned, resulting into the verdict that has now brought about the appeal. The Court of Appeal said apart from the fact that the FCT High Court had no jurisdiction to sit on appeal over a case that emanated from a court of coordinate jurisdiction, the matter was filed out of time, being a pre-election matter, and judgment also delivered beyond the 180 days allowed for the hearing and determination of pre-election matters. The Court of Appeal therefore upheld the appeal by Senator Adeleke and set aside the judgment of the FCT High Court, which, while awarding 3 million naira cost against the 2 respondents.
Justice has been served, and there's no doubt in my mind that today's judgment was a landmark judgment.
Well, that is the decision of the court. We are bound by it. We will get back to our clients. They will decide on what to do the way forward.
In the Delta cases, Peter Nwabushi was affirmed as the duly nominated senator-elect representing Delta North Senatorial District. In Abuja, Femi Okeowo, NTA News.
We'll take you back to our earlier report in Bayelsa, where we told you that the governor, Seriac Dixon, has urged the political class to honor the sanctity of the judiciary in order to preserve the nation's democracy. We now join Ebimnimi Zitimiola for the report.
The judiciary is known to be the last hope for the common man and the bulwark upon which democracies strive. Of late, it has been at the receiving ends of attacks and criticism by the citizens in the cause of the discharge of their constitutional duties. Commentators identify slow dispensation of justice caused by inadequate manpower and poor working conditions as a major challenge facing this very important arm of government. It is in this regard that the appointment of more judges in Bayelsa State for effective justice delivery is highly commendable. At the swearing-in ceremony of two new judges, Inenkinemi Uzaka, former Chief Registrar of the High Court of Bayelsa State, and Tamudu Abasi, former Director of Civil Litigation, Ministry of Justice, Governor Seriac Dixon reminded them to administer justice without fear or favor.
Not to use the law to add to the terrible conditions, circumstances under which our people live. The law should be a servant of our people. The law should be a defender of our people.
We have judges that are retired, and unfortunately we also have a judge that passed away. So with this appointment, now we have those vacancies at least have been filled.
The governor also stated that necessary steps are on for the establishment of a division of the Court of Appeal in the state. In Government House, Yanagwa, Ebinimi Zitimiola, NTA News.
All right, the House of Representatives has held its last plenary for the 8th Assembly in what could be described as a marathon legislative sitting. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
Honourable colleagues, this will mark the last sitting of the 8th Assembly.
As the countdown to the end of the 8th Assembly continues, the lawmakers at Tuesday's plenary engaged themselves with clearance of items before the House. Plenary featured laying, consideration and adoption of reports, with many bills passed as well, as more than 60 items were contained in the day's order paper. Among key reports considered and adopted are bills from the House Committee on National Security and Intelligence,